Spenny, you brought something up during your read
Yes.
for Jack Labrador, and I didn't have any intention of bringing this up. I do not like this term. I haven't liked this term for many, many years because please consider the source. I am somebody, I do not believe in the whole forever thing. I do not believe that a franchise sucks and it's always going to suck because it's the franchise that sucks, as we were just talking about. But I've heard a lot of people make this declaration. And Terry, maybe I'm old. I am.
You are.
Maybe I'm jaded. I have been.
Amen.
I can't help but think of the Restore the Roar campaign in the late 80s and into the 90s. And 1991 happened. It was awesome. Guys, I hope you get a chance to experience it. Being at that game on that January day. Terry, I'm guessing you were in the building as a member of the media.
I couldn't hear for 2 days. That's how loud it was.
The pick six, go watch that game. The pick six is the loudest I've ever heard a building in my lifetime. Game 7, believe it or not, against the Nets in 2004 was like this really weird shrill because I think that's before all the really uber rich people got in. I remember how loud. I think I was there with you, as a matter of fact.
Didn't they have those little things that?
Yes, the thunderclapper things or whatever.
That makes
there was
the noise
a noise.
weird.
I'll never. But I'm not joking. When they had the pick six, Melvin Jenkins, when they had the pick six in that game against Dallas, it was so gosh damn loud in the Silverdome. I thought my ears were going to burst. But they did something, and I actually saw this picture the other day, and it kind of made me chuckle. So they had the Restore the Roar campaign, right? They win the NFC Central at the time. They go 12-4. They knock off the Dallas Cowboys. Didn't just knock them off. They pounded them 38-6. They lose the NFC Championship game. In Terry, I think you'll agree with me, it was a closer game than the score indicated. They were kind of in it in the third quarter. The last quarter and a half, it just fell apart, and Washington beat the crap out of them, okay? But do you remember Wayne was walking around with that hat that just simply said restored? Mm-hmm. Like it was over. Restore the Roar? No, it was over. It was done. It was restored. And obviously, we know what happened the next year. They go 5-11. They win the division in 93, but lose to the Packers at home. And probably my most gut-wrenching loss in the history of my life, the Sterling Sharp play. It really was. It's the most, I couldn't, like, sometimes people get mad, they throw things, they have a temper tantrum. I did nothing. Like, I just remember going, how did that happen? Like, there was no, and the rest is history. So I hate to pick at the scab because I want to state for the record, I do not like this quote. But you have to think like they think. Is Same Old Lions dead? Is it really dead? Because I've heard a lot of people say that. And Spen, I hope you know I'm not picking on you, bro. Terry, I'm going to defer to you, the elder statesman, a guy who's been there, done that.
They got one more hurdle.
Okay.
The biggest hurdle they have to overcome is they have to validate. Next year's schedule is going to be tougher. They can't turn around and win 5 games next year because that's what the Lions have done. The Lions have won 12 and 11 games before, but they always follow up with a clunker the next season.
Yep.
So if they come back next year and you don't have to win 12 games, but if you come back, you win 10 games, you come back, you're in the playoffs, you come back and people are talking about you as a championship contender, then that's the last hurdle of Same Old Lions. So they have to overcome that. Now, I believe Same Old Lions is over with because of this. This is a young team that's growing.
Yep.
And they have a huge window. But at the same time, they got to prove that they are not going to fall into the trap of the 90s. Remember, the team in the 90s was young, too. When they beat Dallas, and then going into the next season, I talked to Robert Porcher, who was a defensive lineman on that team. He was a edge rusher, and he talked about the playoff run the previous year, and he said there's more to come. He says we're not going to Super Bowl, we're going to multiple. It never happened. In fact, they didn't even win a playoff game after that.
Terry, I was such a nerd back then that after I got home from the game, I went and watched the game again, really and truly. And Summerall's quote, I think we're looking at the two teams from the 90s. And Dallas goes and wins 3 Super Bowls, and obviously we don't win another thing. That's what do you think? God forbid this happens. And I'm with you. I think this is the beginning, okay? Again, 2014, the window was open this much. If you ask guys that played for that team, they would tell you that to this day. I've had that conversation with guys from that team, that 2014 team, that said, we kind of knew that was our shot. Like, okay, Ndamukong Suh may be leaving. We kind of knew that was our shot. And obviously they didn't take it. I firmly believe that this is the start. And it should go like this, which it didn't do in the early 90s. But Terry, God forbid that it does. Let's play the game of pretend. The Lions host a game against the Rams. Matthew Stafford beats the Lions. You know it's going to be flying from every direction.
Absolutely.
SOL is going to be flying from every direction. And then, God forbid, we see a repeat of 1992, which I'm telling you, that beating the Bears the whole damn game in Chicago, and some guy named Jim Harbaugh throws a touchdown on the last gosh damn play of the game to a useless wide receiver named Tom Waddle. Sorry, Tom, I know you're in the business now.
And he was slow.
A useless wide receiver named Tom Waddle, and they win the game. And you're sitting there going, okay, it's just a loss. Nope, no big deal.
No.
And it wasn't. It wasn't. It was contagious.
It was contagious. Now, here's what I say. If the Lions, let's say they lose to Matthew Stafford and they win 5 or 6 games the next year, I'm going to say never. This franchise will never get it together.
Oh.
This is as good as it gets. That's not going to happen, everybody. But if it does,
it's not. And
your Uncle Terry is wrong, this franchise will never get it together.
I see. I'm with you. I do not believe that's going to happen. I firmly, really, and truly. I hope you guys know me well enough or know Terry well enough. Listen, I'm not afraid to say the unpopular thing. Okay, that's never been. I don't worry about that.
I shoot you straight.
Yeah, I do my best as well, and especially to hear him, because to hear him talk the way he has about the Lions. I think that really resonates with a lot of people. It resonates with me. But Spence, get back to what you said. I don't think it's dead yet. I agree with you. I don't think it's it. No. It should be. It should be. But I think, and we all have those friends, right? Those guys that are just so jaded, and they announce that they're done with the Lions. And
I'm Lions free.
I'm Lions free.
No, you're not. You're a lion-free liar.
1,000% with that.
Yeah.
But we all have those friends, and sometimes I get the text messages from some of my buddies, like Thanksgiving Day. Oh, how about your Lions? You know, things like that. They're waiting to pounce. Mm-hmm. And if this franchise gives them even a little crack, maybe against Dallas, they get worked by Dallas this weekend, we're gonna hear it.
Yeah, you'll hear it. We do the live streams, and you see it in there. Anytime they turn the ball over or let up a touchdown, you see it, people commenting, and it's just ridiculous to me. I think it's dead, personally, but I understand what you guys are saying. You need to see him win a playoff game or 2, and you need to see him do the same thing next year.
Continuity.
Yes. Yeah.